To be the champs, you must unseat the champs. And I believe my guest is here. So while I push a couple of buttons and while I bring Ryan McCarthy aboard, I want y'all to remember something.
This coffee with McCarthy is sponsored by Steph Curry Cognac. One, and it's lights out.
I pushed the wrong button yet again. Here's Ryan McCarthy. He joins us courtesy of Invader Coffee. If I can find the right button to push. Here he is. Here's Ryan McCarthy. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, hey, how's it going? Good morning. Yeah, happy Easter.
You're kind of muted, I think. You pushed the wrong button. He says hold on a minute. Well, let me show you everything's good. Everything's good on my end. Ryan, you pushed the wrong button. Here, let me roll the. When you're live, strange things happen. He's going to sign out and sign back in. I'm going to play the intro again and
This
wait for
coffee
him to
with
get ready.
McCarthy is sponsored by Steph Curry Cognac. One, and it's lights out.
I think we got everything situated this time. Ryan McCarthy joins us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're still you're still muted.
Let me come back. I'm not muted. I swear I'm not muted. Hang on. I'll come back.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on either. All right, we're gonna get this corrected. Here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, like you and that dance. Shut up, Wise. All right. You hear him? He's not muted. Now wait a minute. How come? Just a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Okay, then. Now, you guys say that you hear him. I don't hear him here. Doggone it. All right. Here, you know what? Let me take a break. All right, we're gonna improvise on the fly here. I'll be back in 3 minutes, and I promise, we'll have Ryan McCarthy. I'm gonna make a switch in equipment. Back in a few.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
It's a blue hell. All right, we're going to try this a third and final time. Let's get Ryan McCarthy on.
This Coffee with McCarthy is sponsored by
Can you hear me, Snowman?
Ryan, can you hear me this time?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear you.
Ah!
Now, this is weird that because the folks in the chat are saying that they hear you, but I can't. And I got everything wired through my other mixer.
Oh, bother.
What's going on here? I don't know
Monday.
either.
It's Monday. That's
boy.
what it is. It's Monday.
Can y'all hear Ryan? Because I cannot. For some reason, I cannot. I cannot hear Ryan through my headset. I don't know why. And I have flipped my mixing boards. I'm glad I brought a second one here. Okay, Deet says that they can hear him. I cannot hear him. For some reason, I can't.
That's weird. Might be your headphones.
This is not how I wanted this Monday to go. These are the best ones I have. I played the intro. I heard the intro. My headset's all the way up to where it'll go as loud as it'll go, and I can't hear him.
That's very strange. Well,
Caramba!
I do want to say congratulations to the Boston Bruins for breaking the record in the NHL for wins in a season. So I do want to say
What am I adjusting in stream? What am I adjusting in my StreamYard settings? What did I do? All right, hang tight a minute, folks.
We're hanging. So one of the things I concentrated on this weekend was the NHL, particularly the wild card standings. Because
all right, try it now. Ryan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Am I muted in StreamYard?
Wait a minute. How can I have him muted in StreamYard? That's not possible.
No, it's not. I have to mute myself, don't I? No, well, you can. Hang on.
I'm going to cuss. And I'm trying not to.
Don't cuss. Don't cuss, Snowman.
I'm looking at all my settings right now, and this is indeed an audio disaster.
Well, while Snowman figures that out, we're going to have a little quick ad from...
It's not on my end.
This audio
because
disaster
I've
is brought to you
changed my
by-
mixers, and I can hear everything else. I just can't hear Ryan.
This audio disaster is brought to you by Chicken Wing Hair Plugs. Forget peacocking and get to Rooster.
You have got to be shaving me.
And
You've got to be kidding me.
And Chicken Wing
Just a
head
minute. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to play his intro again. And I know I'm going to be able to hear it in my headset. Stand by, y'all. Yeah, I'm hearing the intro.
Can you hear me?
Now wait a minute. How the Bunker TV is with us this morning while we try to solve this problem. Ay. I never thought this would happen live, but then again, Wise cussed on air live, and so have I. So when you're live, strange things happen.
It's the gremlins.
Strange things. I'll tell you what. Ryan, jump out and jump back in at the top of the hour.
All right.
Because I have the feeling I am going to have to do a reset here, and I don't want to while I'm out here.
All right. I'll jump out.
You can't come on you got to go at the top of the hour. Of course, you got to go at the top of the hour.
No, I don't.
I see you both and hear you both. How can that be? Because I can. You know what? Brian got an idea. I don't want to have to go through this again. It's Monday. You have to improvise. You got that right, Sick. Garfield hates Mondays. Yeah, and I'm starting to feel like Garfield right now. I cannot hear my guests. And this is really, really ticking me off. Let me think. Here, let me try something here. All right. Jump out, Ryan, and check all your settings, and then come on back to me because I played the intro 3 separate times, and I've been able to hear the intro. You guys can hear me. My mixer settings are fine. I'm looking at them right now, and I looked at both of them, and I changed both of them. Here, let me show you. When I open the show, hold on a minute, folks. I opened with this board right here, and everything wired through and went fine. What I've done to solve the problem of my camera going out, this technical instruction is brought to you by Coffee with McCarthy. I have wired my board to come out of the board and into the phone and right back into the board. And I've done that through a USB interface. And it took me 3 attempts to solve that. So everything I've got wired is good. And I'm making sure everything is wired back to the main setting. I'm going to play the intro again. Stand by, y'all. And there's something I need to read. And before I do, there's something I need to read, and I'm going to do this live read right now. As the Sports Stuff Company has joined us from St. Louis, we are more than just another sports agency. We are the #1 resource for helping some of the most hidden, talented athletes across the country make it to the highest level of a professional athlete. We are www.sportstuffco.com. 6 minutes before the top of the hour, as we try to figure out what the hell is going on here with the sound. The right channel is on, Wise. I'm going to check again. The right channel is on. The right microphone is plugged in. And as far as this mixing board goes, it's going right into the phone. It's going right into my phone, which I'm using as my camera here. Ay. All right, you know what? I'm going to pause for another 3 minutes. We're going to get this figured out. And the only parts I'm going to take from the show today will probably be the 2 guest segments. And that'll be for the shortened replay. Good gracious. Just when you thought everything was figured out, it ain't. Oy. All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back, and I promise we're going to get Ryan McCarthy back on. Back in a minute.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Talk Monday.
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
This is Brett, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. Tune in, hit that like button.
You might wonder,
What do these guys do? Player signing announcements. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today.
Yeah, man. I just had to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Signing me right out.
Without further ado, I'd like to announce that, I'll be taking my talents to Salina Liberty.
This just in. The Major League of Football is reportedly collapsing, unable to pay hotel room bills, with players being kicked out of their rooms and hotel managers asking them to leave voluntarily without issue.
And then we got Lions wide receiver Williams is debuting this week as a starter. That's something to look at as far as the eye test goes. And then another one on the eye test is Mostert. It might be coming back to Miami. And we can see if he has a role in this offense and see if he can be viable for the next couple weeks coming and help us in the playoffs and possibly towards a championship. That would be very nice because he's sitting on my bench right now.
Because we take this job so serious.
I'm sorry.
Because we take this job so serious.
I'm sorry. I did that all wrong. I did that all wrong. My bad.
Do it right, will you?
Oh, God. Brother guest, I'm so glad, Ryan, that you here on Coffee with McCarthy. I love you.
Oh, Lord, you beat me to it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
The last 20 minutes have been a technical disaster, but doggone it, I'm determined to figure this out. Hour 2 will be presented by the Sports Stuff Company, sportstuffco.com. And we're going to try to get Ryan and Jay Spivey on here during the second half of the show. But I've showed y'all everything that's going on, and I've made sure everything is wired correctly. I don't know why I couldn't hear Ryan. We're going to get this thing solved, but we're going to start hour 2 presented by the Sports Stuff Company right now.
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCarthy now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his third year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2,
the hardest working content creator I know, the playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2,
the one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2, Sam Shady.
Oh, man. It's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2, that's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God! Oh, this game! Oh, way to go, Sammy!
Hour 2, was El Jefe.
Oh man, I thought I missed it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now.
Right. In the time it took to run that 60-second intro, I have taken this thing apart. I put it back together. I heard the intro to hour 2 in my head. Headset, that is. All right. We are going to try this again. And we're going to keep trying until this gets right. Now I'm glad I did come out today. Because if there's something I am learning that I have learned over the years, you improvise. And doggone it, we're going to improvise right now. All right, Mr. McCarthy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear him.
Ah. All right.
Am I doing something wrong here? Because you can hear me, Ryan, can you not?
Yep.
Yes.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Then why can't I hear you? Hey, Cole, can you hear Shut
me?
up, Cole.
Hey, I can hear Brian and I can hear
And I
Ryan.
can't hear him either. Ah! This is nerve-wracking.
Welcome to Snowman in the Morning on a wonderful Monday morning. Unfortunately, my partner can't hear anybody but the people who are out in the restaurant he's visiting. But I can hear Ryan. And
I can hear Cole.
Yes. And
Good morning,
and
Cole.
Ryan can hear me.
Happy Easter. He is risen.
That's right. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah.
No.
It is wonderful to actually say that to somebody and they understand it. But yes, yesterday was good for me. I hope it was good for you.
Yeah, it was. It was great time with church family and with immediate family too.
Awesome.
And I see you got the memo. You wore red today. Good for you.
Yes. I wore red. Yes. All right. So, have you all gone over what you're sipping on, or?
Not really. Snowman's having some technical difficulties. I'm still, as usual, sipping on coffee with the Invader coffee. But other than that, we didn't really get to talking about anything because Snowman's having his technical difficulties. And hoping everything works out. But I was talking about a little bit about the Boston Bruins breaking the single season NHL wins record.
63 on the season. Wow.
Yep, and they still have 2 games to go.
That's right. The regular season still isn't over. Wow.
No.
All right, so
it ends this week.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? The fact that they decided to go for the most wins ever in an NHL season.
Good for them, but good for them. But Stanley Cup playoffs are a completely different animal.
That's where I am with it.
I've said multiple times on this program, on No Credentials Required. I've said it multiple times. It says that you can't base your entire playoff on what happens in the regular season. Look at 1996, Detroit Red Wings bounced in the Western Conference Final. 2019, Tampa Bay Lightning swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round of the East and they were the wild card team.
Right.
But
that's sort of how I feel too. It's sort of, it's like, okay, yay, you won the President's Trophy. Cool, great. So you're the greatest regular season team of that given year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it seems hollow to me.
It is.
Yeah, and yes, like you've said, and I 100% agree because I've been watching NHL literally for the last 35 years, and like I said, I've seen many President's Cup trophy winners just peter out and just fizzle. And yeah.
I mean, it happened last year, Florida.
Yeah.
Florida got bounced in the second round to Tampa Bay, who wound up being the Eastern Conference representative for the Stanley Cup Final.
Right. So yeah, I sort of feel that vibe. It's like, all right, cool, Bruins, you did great. You made regular season history. You got to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup in June. That's really what you got to do this for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just a empty record in the record book.
Yeah.
Just like a certain team in California back in 2016. Good thing Snowman's not here. I mentioned that.
All right.
I'm cold-blooded. Oh, I forgot to mention. I can't forget to mention.
Shoot.
A certain team in New England that had 18 wins and one giant loss back in 2007.
Well, you have made.
I am shooting my shots today, my friend.
Yes, you have made this man very happy in mentioning that. Love you,
Wise. Jake's, buy me a Coke.
Yes, I know. Oh. All right. So since you're somewhat in the hockey mood, you mentioned the Bruins.
Yep.
What are the chances that you give your Devils?
The chance I give my Devils, they played Boston on Saturday night. I don't know if I got a chance to catch that game. I watched the third period.
Mm-hmm.
The Devils were playing them tough. They're solid. They're both solid teams.
Yeah.
Both of them are solid teams, and I can't wait for the Devils to come back to the playoffs. I mean, they're in the playoff spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're only a point behind Carolina in the Metro. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the playoffs.
Yes.
I'm ready for the playoffs.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Wise says, everyone knows how I feel about Boston. Yes. I definitely know how you feel about Boston. And you will know how Wise feels about Boston in the episode that will drop today of Mentality. Because he makes his wonderful, warm-hearted feelings about Boston well known yet again.
I can't wait. In the words of Bart Scott, can't wait.
Okay. Now, your Jets.
Here we go again.
So Aaron Rodgers is a Jet.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the holdup?
Compensation. It's going to come down to compensation. It's going to come down to whether or not Aaron Rodgers wants to restructure his contract. Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Joey on In or Out Sports Debate. Which, by the way, Drew Willie.
Oh gosh,
Drew Willie, Joey, Dietz, awesome job on Saturday night.
Beautiful.
Awesome job on Saturday night. But I think it was Joey who mentioned that the Jets only have $10 million in cap space right now, which is probably part of the reason why they couldn't sign Odell Beckham Jr. So, yeah, he wound up going to the Ravens for $18 million for one season. I mean, for a guy who didn't play football at all last year, that's a bit far-fetched. But hey, well, what are you going to do? I mean, people say the Jets don't have a quarterback right now. Well, neither does Baltimore. Baltimore.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the Ravens, so they sign OBJ. Do you think this is a sign of the Ravens trying to say, look, Lamar, we got you a stud wide receiver? Or is this a relationship where it just simply the bridge is solely burned and there's just no way of return?
I think it's a little column A, a little column B, to be honest with you. The Ravens are showing, hey, we'll do what you want, Lamar. You want a target? Hey, you got a target. You got Odell Beckham Jr. Now there's just the price of getting Lamar signed. The worst thing Deshaun Watson could have done was reset the market for quarterbacks everywhere, and that's exactly what he did. He reset the market. I said the same thing about Christian Kirk last year, but Christian Kirk actually had a decent year in 2022. Help the Jaguars win the AFC South. So it's a tough road to hoe for both sides. I think they're going to reach an impasse. I think he'll hold out through training camp, and then when the training camp's over, they're like, "Oh, we've got some money. We're going to sign Lamar. Look, we found some money right here." Or if there's a team desperate enough to say, "Okay, we'll send 2 first-round picks to Baltimore for have Snoop Hundley play for a year."
Right. But I mean, that's what it looks like it's going to have to be for them.
Hey, someone can hear us.
Can he? No, he
No,
can't.
he
Yes.
can't.
Oh, he can.
Oh.
Say when?
I bleeping hate technology right now. At least for the past 35 minutes, I've hated technology.
Ladies and gentlemen, the snowman is no longer deaf.
It's a miracle. It's an Easter miracle.
It's a miracle. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this all wrong.
Oh no.
It's
Here it
an
comes.
absolute miracle that Snowman is no longer deaf. I had to get brother gassed in on it too.
Can we begin the Aaron Rodgers slander now?
Okay. Well, we can begin it. We can begin it. So I'm gonna treat this
Because
I'm gonna treat this
I
just like
put
in or
this,
out.
I put this in a simple question. When it comes to where, and in this case, when Aaron Rodgers will sign, who bleeping cares?
Just get it done.
Well, I'll put it this way.
Who gives two bits of a flying lie? And I'm really restraining myself this morning after what happened. Because y'all don't know what I want to set off the air.
It's an absolute miracle.
It is.
Victor says, I told Brother Guest not to dance on the mixing board.
He can't help himself. Victor, I'm sorry.
No, you're not. Don't you tell me that flying lie again.
I love you.
And salute to you, Mr. McCarthy. And salute to all those being patient with my improvisation.
Cheers, my brother.
He can hear. He can hear. Well, I'll put it this way.
Just
Please
don't tell anyone. Just don't tell anyone you can hear.
Yeah, right. I'll put it to you this way.
Curse you, McCarthy.
Narrator. He told him anyway.
I'll put this in or out fashion. Shout out to you, Drew. When they said in or out that Aaron Rodgers will not be on the Jets, I said I'm all the way in on this because that toe-picking idiot needs to retire.
That toe-picking idiot should have retired after he got obliterated at Levi's Stadium. I'll be right back.
Which time?
To answer your question, Ryan, even
2020?
before the NFC Championship in January of 2020, I'm talking November 2019 when they got obliterated at Levi Stadium, when they got embarrassed on Sunday Night Football. I'll be right back.
Well, now that the man that can hear has to jet for a minute.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Do you think that, and we were watching In or Out Saturday night, but I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that Aaron Rodgers' presence will make the team better?
TBD, to be determined.
Okay.
I want to see what happens first with this trade. I feel I've said it. I said it last week on this program. I said it Thursday night. I know credentials required.
It depends on who you lose.
It depends on who you lose, and B, well, I mean, it's going to depend on who you lose. I mean, you're going to lose draft picks. You're going to lose draft capital. That's fine. I mentioned the time for rebuild is over. The time for winning is now.
Oh, you can tell with that defense, the time for winning is now.
That defense is hungry.
Yeah.
They want to win. They want to bring a title to New York. Sorry. Well, okay. New Jersey. Whatever. It's still considered Metro New York in the TV market. Shush. Yes. Wise Brees Hall is healing up good. He's hopefully going to have him back in camp by the time camp begins. Hopefully,
which to me that if they can't do that because the backfield for the Packers is pretty solid, or at least I mean in number. But I think your defense is ready to go. Brees is ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Garrett Wilson is ready to go.
And Garrett Wilson, who, of course, a stud wide receiver in the making, young, and showed his wares by actually winning Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, it's just Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's just you got a lot of positives going for the Jets, and you don't have to involve Aaron Rodgers. That to me, that's where I am with it. I'm like, you don't really have to involve this fool, and you won't have him if you have him for 2 years, you'll be lucky. I'm thinking you'd have him for 1 year, and it would be similar. I'm sorry. You're probably going to be tossing stuff at me for what I'm about to say, Ryan. It's going to be similar
toss.
when they had another former Packer decide to become a Jet, and he was hemming and hawing about retiring years beforehand, and he got there, and he was for the Jets for a year, and the most famous thing he did was send naked pictures on his phone. And, of course, I'm talking about Brett Favre. And all that fanfare and hoopla, and they had to watch Chad Pennington-led Dolphins win a division. I just don't think it's worth the trouble.
Well, if you remember back in 2008 when Favre was the quarterback for the Jets,
mm-hmm.
They were
8-3. They were 8-3 going into.
You put a key four-letter word in your sentence.
Yeah, we're 8-3.
They were 8-3.
Favre gets hurt. He remains there. He has quarterback, and they wound up losing. They wound up losing 4 out of their last 5, and they missed the playoffs.
Which sent Joe Beningo into a rage.
Well,
he's always angry.
He got hurt because he had to pull out his joystick on the wrong woman. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna sing.
I'm sorry.
I swear to God, I'm not gonna sing that song. I did it once. I made Cole fall out of his chair, and that's the last time I did it.
I'm so
sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Are you?
Don't you tell that flying lie, because I'm not sorry when I referenced it either. Good gracious. I mean, Favre gets hurt. They say one thing. We all know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did Vince Scully put it? If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then you've seen about 1,000,000 words. Yeah, that was the latter part of the Jets' 2008 season, and it was the latter part of the Jets last year after Brees Hall got injured, and it's going to be the entire Jets season this year because they're messing around with this. I will not cuss. I will not. Give me my pad here. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not cuss.
I just want to see how angry you're writing. It's like, I will not cuss.
You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Because half of this notebook's gone already.
There's only one reason why. Only one reason. 2 words. One person. One reason why the Jets want to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
Joe Beningo?
His name is Woody Johnson.
And
you know what? There's 100 jokes that just popped in my head, and I'm not going to say any of them.
I got one that I will say because I think Woody Johnson is just partaking in one of these.
Some good.
He's almost as bad as David Tepper. Man, come on.
Just,
I mean,
you know
listen.
what? There's your abomination for the day. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock, in the immortal words of my partner Cole Johnson.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
There you go. You want the good? Listen, how did Deeds put it? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Here's the ugly. Up until draft night, the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Period. The Carolina Panthers. Look, and I know Victor's gonna probably hit me with a clothesline from hell, but let's just speak truth and shame the devil. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Period. Find the lie.
Well,
that's the most embarrassing thing that the Panthers could have done. I take that back. The most embarrassing thing, and I'm gonna get socked in the mouth by Panther fans, but I'm going there. I have to.
No, don't.
The most embarrassing thing the Panthers have done, they signed Cam Newton twice.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was going to say that. Oh, Lord. I do not want Charlotte to be all on this show.
Look at this camera. Find the lie.
Well, I mean, the man needs to have 2 pro days. So
I'll repeat my command. I will repeat my command.
Ain't no way 31 quarterbacks are better than me.
Well, that's because 96 of them are better than him.
Narrator, there were 30 quarterbacks better than him.
No, there were even more than that.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. They ain't no 30. He says they ain't no 32 quarters better than him. You're right. It's 64.
Yeah.
And you can double that. Listen.
I've said this on this show.
Yes.
To me, it was condemning when you were on a team for a full year. The team drafts a QB. And he does not take an NFL snap, but he could teach you the playbook from stem to stern.
and back to stem again.
Ain't took an NFL snap, but could teach you the team's playbook? Really?
He doesn't even know you want to know something? You want to know a very big indictment? He didn't even know the full playbook in Carolina. All he knew was take the snap and run. That ain't a play. That's running for your life. Which explains the problem the Carolina Panthers have had since 2015. No offensive line.
And what I really don't understand about the fascination of Cam Newton, what I really don't, and I mean now, I'm not talking about then. You know, people could say, well, you know, he's 6'5" and 265. He's built basically the same thing that we when we were growing up, we heard about Jim Kelly. Well, he's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, the problem is
he has to play like one.
Yeah, here's the difference between Jim Kelly and Cam Newton. In a simple sentence, Jim Kelly had an arm.
And people were quick to and Jim Kelly did have an arm. That dude had a cannon. But they would be quick to say, well, he plays like a linebacker and he has the same size as Ben Roethlisberger, but he doesn't get the same love. Well, guess what? Both of them received the same punishment. And we both got a chance to see them on the field diminish.
Yep. Right before our eyes. All because
they both believed in different ways that being 6'5" and 250 made them bulletproof. Well, I'm sorry, when you have guys your size and bigger who can hurl at you and keep hitting you and keep hitting you and keep hitting you, those hits pile up. I don't care what position you play. But double, especially quarterback, because certain times you are a sitting target.
Just ask Steve Young before he got it right. And he was plucked away by Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh saw what Steve Young could bring to a team. And why were they comparing Cam Newton to Jim Kelly? Jim Kelly actually was a quarterback. Cam Newton was just Cam Newton.
Athletic.
Jim
freak.
Kelly actually played the position correctly.
Excuse me.
Go
Because
ahead,
he was an
Brian.
athletic freak. That's why.
Who is?
Cam Newton.
No, he wasn't.
Well, no, he was. He was an athletic freak. The problem, though, is that he believed that he was an athletic freak and rolled with it. And
I will echo the response of my grandchildren.
And he believed that 2010 season at Auburn was going to translate to the pros. And because of that, he paid the price.
Yeah. And for all those Cam Newtonites who believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame, think again. Cam Newton belongs Give me this camera. Because give me this camera. Cam Newton belongs nowhere near the Pro Football Hall of Fame because he played like a mediocre quarterback for his entire Carolina Panther career. Get this camera out of my face.
To mention Cam Newton needs to give me this camera. Lord have mercy.
What? 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 And you what? What?
What?
What? What?
Good, you're laughing. I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Since we have you on here, Ryan.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it with
I know. And we're talking NFL. And we know the NFL draft is coming up in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Who do you want the Jets to take?
Everybody except Aaron Rodgers.
Oh gosh.
In the draft, Snowman. God.
Hey, brother, guess. My answer remains the same. Matter of fact, who in the bloody hell don't you want to take a sign of Aaron Rodgers? Am I wrong? You're a Jets fan. Y'all have suffered since
forever.
Yes, that.
Since the Garden of
Y'all
Eden.
have suffered since the Orange Bowl in 1970. All right? Am I wrong in my questioning?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I haven't lived that long, but
but you get the point.
I get it.
You get the point. If anyone suffered longer, he's up at the top of the screen. And poor Cole has suffered through two ideations of a Houston franchise. One that got obliterated by Frank Reich on January 3rd, 1993. And then you got this mess that's in Houston right now. And come on, football season, please. I mean, I love you, Houston Astros and St. Louis Cardinals, but can we get football season back? Please.
Well, you got 5 months until it does. So, I mean, it'll be cool until then. But I get it. But until then, you have to do with today's NBA fan.
Mr. Johnson,
the playoffs in the next 2 months. I get that. Yes, sir.
I love you, but shut up.
See, that's some cold.
And you're right. And you're right. And you're right. We got to deal with the supposed NBA fan who thinks they know what they're talking about. God knows we talk about him every Wednesday, and I ain't got to say nothing further about that. We got to deal with Brooklyn. We got to deal with the Brooklyn mess. I'm trying not to. Trust me. I'm trying not to.
Oh, you mean that I should do this?
Yes.
I can hear Wise right now, but it's not Wednesday.
But it's not Wednesday.
We're gonna hear that forever.
Oh gosh. Well,
we're gonna hear that forever. Don't do it. Don't do it.
He will also
not do it.
He will also hear forever too that one of the best Brown Session conventions came from him, and he did it on the Thursday.
Off the top of his head.
Off the top of the head. Mhm.
He did that off the dome.
Don't do it.
Right on cue.
Oh,
And Playmaker
did
followed
Playmaker
it.
back door.
Playmaker.
But it's not Wednesday. Oh,
right on cue. Thank you, gentlemen. Mwah. Chef's kiss for
Oh,
both of you
Lord.
for that.
Right on cue. Here's Lawman Wise. Oh, Victor. On the upcoming episode of Mentality, he bigs you up. But he actually calls himself by the name Bizarro Wise. You will love it, bro.
You must send me that episode because I will air it today.
Oh gosh, yes.
You must send me that episode. Now, as we try to get back on the rails and we never do.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where we were. Oh yeah, we were discussing the modern day NBA fan when we have to deal with the false hope in the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, but they have great hope because Joel Embiid is campaigning for the MVP.
I want you to get a button ready when I have my response. There's a button. I need you to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
That begins with a certain sound. Who gives a flying?
Oh, that.
Yeah, that one.
Mm. Well, I understand that no one gives a flying. But still, he's campaigning hard for the MVP.
And he's as soft as my granddaughter's pillow. And for that matter, so is Kevin Durant. I never thought I'd say that about KD, but he is.
I don't think he's soft. I just think he's brittle. And it's unfortunate.
Well, I'll give okay. I'll allow that.
Yeah.
I'll allow that. Listen, people are telling me I shouldn't say it in the way I'm going to say it.
However,
but I'm going to say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simple statement, and y'all know it very well. And Playmaker, I'm going to get shot down by you. I'm going to get shot down by Cool McCain, and I'm going to get shot down by a lot of people. But since the playoffs are now here, and they officially begin April 16th, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs.
Woo!
Period.
Little girl, you down because I made a non-swim with your mother. You're next.
And therefore ends my iced matcha lemonade.
All right.
But
there ends one thing, and here begins another.
Uh-oh.
Man, this is a wonderful Monday as we're joined by Ryan McCarthy, and we're now joined by the man who is in charge of the Spivey Notes segment of this show every Monday at 9:35 Eastern, the one, the only Jay Spivey. How you doing, man?
Gentlemen, I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am to be on this show. As you and Brian both know, I'm kind of going through a lot here.
Yes,
that
brother.
some you know and some you don't know. So this is exactly the tonic I need to have a little fun this morning.
Good,
hey,
man.
Jay,
Good, man.
I've loved you being on this show for almost 3 years now. It took a certain person to hook us up. I'm glad the connection was made, and we are so honored to have you as a part of this show. Now
Thank
to
you so
begin
much.
with a laugh, and I know I'm going to get a laugh out of Jay with the following statement. Quote, the Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
Well, as I told y'all last week, the fact they traded up to either get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young is absurd. They literally sold the farm to get 2 quarterbacks. You have no idea how good they're going to be. It's not like it's Peyton Manning or Joe Burrow or anybody else.
Would you say that again, please? They sold the farm to get 2 quarterbacks, and the word I can insert at the tail end of that sentence, unproven.
Totally unproven. I mean, I know Stroud has had a good career, and he had a decent playoff this year. And Bryce Young he's a tremendous quarterback, but he's small. He's small.
Yeah. I mean, both these quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, do they have the tools? Yes, they do. Did they have good seasons? Yes, they did. I mean, C.J. Stroud was basically 62 seconds away from taking his team to Los Angeles for the national championship game. But Stetson Bennett and the Bulldogs had an answer. It's what happens when you get into the playoff and you never know what could happen, especially at the stroke of midnight. Thank you, Scott Howard, for that. And Chris Fowler, who said it. But if you're counting on, and I know Deacon's going to get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to spit it off of a gut feeling, and I know you guys agree. If you're counting on either of these quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, to be the leaders of your offense for the upcoming seasons, then you got a problem.
Well,
major problem.
To kind of back up your point there. If this doesn't work, and like I told y'all, you know how I feel about David Tepper, what a clown he is.
Yes.
And I really, like I told you the last couple of weeks, I think the Panthers have done an excellent job in free agency. They really have.
Yes, they have.
But if this does not work, and they draft one of these quarterbacks, and it's a failure after 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
give them a little bit of time.
You have to.
It sets you back at least 10 years.
And on the Panthers clock, they're already set back because of one Cameron Jarrell Newton. I don't need to say anything more about that.
Don't even get me started on him.
A man who needs 2 pro days.
It said he's better than 32 quarterbacks in the league.
Well,
but
64
he's not better than 70 quarterbacks in the league.
He wasn't lying. He did say this ain't no 32 quarterbacks better than him. He's right. There isn't.
Yeah,
there's
a lot more than that.
There's a lot more than that.
Guys, a former CFL quarterback with no arm is better than Cam Newton.
There are high school quarterbacks who have better arms than he has.
And Jay and I have seen a few of them in North Carolina during our time there together. Have we not?
We have indeed.
Oh, but
I would take a noodle-armed Chad Pennington over Cam.
And Ryan mentioned that. Ryan mentioned that to me last week. Ryan mentioned that to me last week.
Second pro day though.
Listen,
Cam showed that he can throw that pill 50 yards downfield at any given moment that he showed us.
Please.
Yeah, here's the problem.
Guys, threw it 50 yards in 5 throws.
Thank you.
It would have to be 10
Where was that arm? Where was that arm beginning in 2010?
Please.
Okay, where was that arm beginning in 2000 or 2011?
No, he had that arm then, but it just was inaccurate.
Yeah, he was throwing all over the place before they went to the Super Bowl. And
Listen,
then after
we're
that,
talking
he got
about
hit so hard he didn't know he had no body left.
We're talking about Cam Newton saying there ain't 32 quarterbacks that are better than him. Listen, all I have to do to obliterate that, like we haven't already, is to say this statement right here. Quote, Mr. Irrelevant did more in 9 games than Cam Newton did with the Panthers in 9 years.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Oh.
And I mean,
even though
you're talking about Brock Purdy. I know you're talking about Brock Purdy.
Talk about Brock Purdy.
The Panthers came out, not the Panthers, the 49ers just came out this past week and said he's our quarterback, and he's had a severe elbow injury. What does that tell you?
Yes, that tells you a lot. It does.
Yeah. Listen,
as it should, and I told Brian that they were going to do that as soon as they won the wild card game.
I
against
said
the
that
Seahawks.
after they beat Tampa. I said that before after they beat
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, 'cause
After they kicked the hell out of Tampa Bay and then went to Seattle with those two fake tosses that Brock Purdy. I said after the Seattle game, we found our franchise.
and I said to Brian after the wild card game, I said the 49ers are going to announce they found their guy.
And they,
Yes.
listen, I follow them like you do, Brian. They should not have drafted Trey Lance.
No,
there was no reason
that was a waste
no
of a draft
reason
pick.
to.
It's a waste of moving up.
It is.
It was.
And now,
being arrogant.
and now
they're gonna find somebody for him.
And the only reason why they took Trey Lance was because they wanted Zach Wilson. The Jets took him.
And
it's because he didn't like
which was
Garoppolo.
another terrible
because
mistake.
Shanahan doesn't like Garoppolo.
Yep.
Oh,
now they're going forward, and there's rumors flying around out of San Francisco that they're really ready to part ways with Trey Lance.
They should
and recoup some picks for him, and they need to do it within the next 7 days.
I'm not sure.
They need to do, and I saw no surprise in this.
That might be a draft. That might be a draft day move.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's probably right.
I would not be surprised if they pull the trigger on draft night in Kansas City that they move Trey Lance and stockpile some more draft picks because they're not picking until late in the second round.
And he had a severe injury himself.
That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
They're stockpiling. They're playing this exactly the way I thought they would play it after Brock Purdy showed up, showed off, and showed out. They found their franchise quarterback, period.
As long as he can recover from the elbow surgery. And that's saying a lot. But it's not the same. I know it's basically Tommy John surgery, and it's not like baseball. It's not the same.
It's not.
But if he can recover, and that's a big if, he's by far the better quarterback.
And I believe he can recover from this. They're targeting him to be ready Labor Day weekend. They're targeting him to be ready week 1. Let me say that correctly. But look at the 40 side of the quarterback position, which belongs to Brock Purdy right now. Look at the 49er team and how stacked they are. And the defense only got better, snatching Javon Hargrave from Philadelphia.
Right. Which was already a tremendous defense.
Yes. Now you put Javon Hargrave opposite Nick Bosa. You insert Javon Kinlaw on the inside where he was at South Carolina. And you got the best front seven has only gotten better.
Then you got a ton of talent on offense as well.
Exactly. And this is where the 49ers, I believe, are going to make some hay in the draft because a lot of people don't believe this, but there are a lot of offensive linemen, not in the first, not in the second round.
I was about to say, I think what they're going to do is they're going to draft depth at the offensive line.
They're going to draft depth at the offensive line, and they're also going to draft depth in the secondary.
Another area where they need to have depth. Yeah.
They need to have some depth, especially now with Jimmy Ward gone, who's going to play safety in Houston, and DeMeco Ryans. And I hate to say this about your Texans, Cole, but DeMeco Ryans will not make the call for Jimmy Ward correctly playing safety, which is what Ryans had him doing his last year in San Francisco. That call's not going to come from Ryans. They're going to flip him out of position, and that call's going to come from above. Find the lie.
Look at the mess the Packers are in because they stupidly drafted Jordan Love.
Period.
They put themselves in the same position they did 15 years prior, and you would have thought they would learn their lesson.
Exactly.
You would think they would learn. They would have learned their lesson. They haven't learned. They haven't learned their lesson because they're going through it a third time. And I say a third time because Aaron Rodgers, for the second time in the last.
Jordan Love has shown absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
But this happened 3 years ago. Why draft Jordan Love? They didn't need to draft Jordan Love.
And who the hell is Jordan Love anyway?
Yeah, again, it's because they have an arrogant coach who thought he knew everything.
Sure.
This is and this arrogant coach doesn't seem to realize And forgive me for saying it this raw, this arrogant coach doesn't seem to realize you got your ass kicked twice in the NFC Championship game. Once on your home field and once in Levi Stadium.
And both to the
49ers.
Let's,
let's look at it, guys. They had a chance to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
and they blew it.
Absolutely had a no-show against the Lions on the last
They
night.
they laid a platinum egg.
At Lambeau.
What's so bad about that is you had Rodgers who basically could give a crap about September and October. And was assigning blame everywhere else except for him.
Except for him.
The wide receivers weren't doing their jobs. The line wasn't doing jack. Well, the coaches aren't coaching us up right.
Right.
You know, and all of a sudden he decides to get invested in November, and he gives us this RLAX thing again. Yep. And then they go on this winning streak to it's like, look, for those who are non-believers, we told you we're gonna put you in this spot. Here we are. And we got a chance to get in the playoffs. You had a chance to do it at home, and you were the one to help lay the biggest of the golden egg.
It's
because you had the ball you had the ball. You could have at the end of that game be the hero. You turned out to be the GOAT.
Yep.
Why did they flex that? Why they flexed that game to Sunday night instead of Titans and Jaguars, which decided a division?
That was by far the more important game. But y'all know why they did that. NBC wanted a ratings.
And they figured
the Packers have much bigger pull than the Jags and Titans do.
But the Packers laid an egg.
That's one, and the other is Aaron Rodgers is a bigger name than anybody on the Jags.
Not even close.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers laid a big fat egg on Sunday night.
Trevor Lawrence would beg to disagree.
Well, he could beg to disagree all he wants, but he knows that's the truth, and that's a fact. However, I can say this, you can say this, Ryan, and Jay, you can say this too, and you just said it. The bigger game and the better game, actually, was the Titans and Jaguars. And
that was winning in. That was winning in.
Yeah, that was winning the division.
That should have ended the season because that was a winner in scenario.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was shocked when the Packers were announced that night that was going to be the game. Shocked. So the Lions, which had nothing to play for that night after what had happened earlier in the day, that was like their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they played like it too.
Yeah, they did. They did.
That's a great comment from Remy Yates. That's a great comment.
They did. They did. Remy, wonderful comment, bro. Anthony Richardson is Jordan Love and Trey Lance. A wasted pick on a shot in the dark over measurements instead of certified talent, as if size is potential. And unfortunately, and I think Jay would probably co-sign with me on this. I think that started with one Cameron Newton.
It's certainly right up there.
Yeah, you saw this guy who, like I said, he was 6'5", he was about 250, 260, and people were just as enamored about his size as they were about the potential and as they were about his athleticism, because people were raving about this guy being big. He could look over the line. You know, he could probably take a shot. And people were enamored with, a quarterback who probably can be physically durable. But you forget it's a position that you have to be mentally capable of performing, and you got to
like
be
I told you guys a million times. I understand the position has evolved towards you have more of an athletic quarterback.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean you still can't. You got to be able to throw the ball if you have to.
You must.
And a lot of these quote unquote athletic quarterbacks just cannot throw the ball if they have to. Their first instinct is to run no matter what. And you're going to get beat up. If you make it 10 years, you're lucky as a quarterback playing that way. Just look at
Jim McMahon. Jim McMahon.
Look at Robert Griffin III.
Yeah,
how'd that last?
Yep.
He had that one wonderful year, and at the end of that one wonderful year, he got his knee blown out twice.
He got lit up.
Oh God, he got lit up. Haloti Nada messed that knee up some awful, and he ain't been the same.
No, that's why he's working ESPN now.
Yeah, hadn't been the same since.
You got to be able to prove you can throw the ball at some point. And the same thing, although he did improve this year, Jalen Hurts' first instinct is still to run the ball.
Yeah,
it is. We're going to see the Eagles lost a lot in free agency. We're going to see how good he is this year.
Yeah, we are. Remy says, look, not just Cam, Jamarcus Russell, but some people never learn. Yes, and I agree. I agree.
He was terrible.
Oh,
Jamarcus
God.
Russell was horrible.
And in his case, he didn't have the athleticism that Cam had. But
Because he was 600 pounds. That's why.
But people, true. But people were drooling over this guy being able to just throw the ball 65 yards.
Right.
As if that was the only measurement of a good quarterback. Okay, he can throw it long. Good. Can he throw it accurately? The answer to that question was no.
He might be the biggest bust in NFL history.
Yeah, he might be. Of course, I still think of Ryan Leaf, and I'm like,
well, he's right up there.
Yeah.
So even think about that. People were debating on whether to draft Leaf or Manning is laughable.
I know.
It's just laughable.
You sit back now, 25 years later, and you're like, people actually debated that
out loud.
People actually debated, man,
out loud.
Leaf actually could be a better prospect than Manning. I'm like, how?
Who told this lie?
How?
I have to. Who told this lie?
There were a lot of people who thought that back then. Just go back and look at some other tape.
Yeah,
you're right.
A lot of
you're
people
right.
thought that.
And Leaf admitted on air he didn't put in the work.
Well, Peyton Manning was 600 million times better than Ryan Leaf.
That's a light number.
And even then, I think you're insulting Peyton Manning. But Victor says, look, Michael Vick became the blueprint of today's NFL quarterback. I love Mike,
yes,
but he should have been the exception to the rule
and not the rule.
And unfortunately,
you know
who's
not
become the rule.
Now, let me back that up by saying this. You know who was the exception to the rule? Steve Young.
And I kept saying people looked at me as if I had a third eye on my head from the third year of Michael Vick's career on until he actually did get it right in 2010. I kept saying, I said, man, Michael Vick needs to see Steve Young tapes. He needs to see how Steve Young decided to not be just that running quarterback, but to just simply assassinate teams in the pocket and make his athleticism an asset, not a liability to him, and the only thing that would actually get him anywhere in NFL. And he kept relying on
and more to the point. And more to the point,
with Michael Vick, he did himself in, not really because of how he played quarterback.
Well, no,
more to the point.
Well, I think he did himself in there, and of course, he did himself further by what he did off the field.
Yeah,
and more to the point, Young made his athleticism, even though it was tremendous, an afterthought because he knew how to dissect you from the pocket.
Well, one thing that proved how good he was, I mean, he's talked about this before. I've heard him say it. The USFL helped him a lot.
Yeah,
it really did.
Helped Jim Kelly too.
Yeah,
it really helped Jim Kelly.
And Warren Moon too.
Yep, and
Bobby Hebert.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Listen,
people laugh at USFL back then. There were a lot of good players in USFL back then.
Does the name Reggie White mean anything to y'all?
That's when I first learned Reggie White.
Sam Mills.
Yeah.
Sam Mills.
One of the best middle linebackers.
I mean, the two matchups over 2 years we saw with Jim Kelly and Steve Young put on a performance at Candlestick Park in 1992 for the ages, where there were, listen to me carefully, no punts in that game. September of 1992, the Bills won that game 34-31 when Mike Kofer missed the short field goal with 50 seconds remaining. But there were 1,100 yards in that game. There were no punts. And there were a few turnovers in that game, but there was Jim Kelly and there was Steve Young at the center of it, and both threw for 400 yards in that game.
And now they're both in the Hall of Fame.
Now they're both in the Hall of Fame. And people expect Cam Newton to get there. Get real.
That is a joke. And I hear a
That
lot of
is a
people,
joke.
especially down here, saying he's a Hall of Fame. That is a joke if he gets in the Hall of Fame.
That's a joke. That's a joke, and it's a mock. It's a joke, and it's a mockery if Cam Newton gets in the Hall of Fame and Roger Craig does not.
Yeah.
And I don't need to say anything more about one Roger Craig
Cam Newton
and the impact he had on the NFL.
That's Superman. Don't say anything negative about him.
I got a lot of it. A lot of negative things to say about one Cameron Jarrell Newton.
So do I.
All right.
So do I.
and the biggest thing is he wasn't a quarterback.
This is my position like it. That's
he
the
was
thing.
a petulant little
no.
child after the Super Bowl.
He did not play the position like a quarterback.
No.
And he was not a grown up off the field.
And there are a lot of people who gave you listen, he can do whatever he wants, as long as he doesn't do it criminally.
Right.
But
right.
To show up every day at a press conference and look like he was at a fashion show, this is not what this is about.
This is Russell Westbrook all over again.
Yeah, it is.
This is Russell Westbrook all over. This is the NFL version of Russell Westbrook all over again. And to say I'm getting a little bit sick of it would be a horrible understatement.
Well, what got me is that he made it all about himself all the time. It's not about himself. It's about the other 52 guys on the team.
Yeah. And he never thought about that. Cam Newton never thought about that at all.
Just look how he behaved in that Super Bowl after the game was over. You knew darn well you're the quote unquote face of the franchise. You're going to get grilled by the media. And yet he acted like a petulant little child. And he blamed it on the media. That is the media's job. They should ask him questions. Hard questions if necessary.
But he couldn't take the hard questions.
No,
he couldn't take it even after home games. He could never ever take the hard questions. And the hardest questions he ever took.
Whine and pouted the whole time.
The two games where he took the hardest questions after Super Bowl 50 and after the first game the following season when he got beat into oblivion by the same defense. He got beat into oblivion.
One Von Miller.
Because people say that it was Super Bowl 50 that did him, and I was like, no, it was the game 7 months later because
it was the game in Denver where Carolina lost by a point, and yet Cam Newton got lit up.
And there were a lot of people in this state who blamed it all on the referees for how it was officiated.
Yeah. But the Broncos
lit him up.
The Broncos they literally treated Cam Newton as if he was one of those
rag dolls.
Exactly.
Rag dolls, yeah. But one of those stand-up foams for the drill that they do. Okay, first one to hit that.
The tackling dummy.
Yeah.
The first one to break it gets an award.
That game literally looked as though it was a pass rushing drill that the Broncos were running.
He never was the same after that night.
It was never the same.
And the best part about that game, and I watched it all the way through. They were relentless in Super Bowl 50. They were even more relentless that Thursday night in Denver.
No doubt.
Man.
They were even more relentless. It's like they turned everybody loose on Cam Newton and said, "See him? He's been talking about us. Let's go get him."
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Now, Deeds, you raise a good point. It says Cam Newton was a season MVP and the most rushing yards and TDs as a QB. That's his candidacy for Hall of Fame. There are others in the Hall of Fame that don't have those credentials.
One season.
And here's something that might further actually boost your point. Lamar Jackson can say the same thing except for he doesn't have a Super Bowl appearance.
And Lamar has proved himself to be a much better quarterback through how many years it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have one lingering issue with Lamar Jackson. I've said it to Jay, I've said it to Cole, and I will say it again here. Lamar Jackson can't stay on the damn field.
Nope.
Well, that's what Arthur Blank said.
And that's why the Ravens are hesitant about signing him to a long-term guarantee.
Do you blame them?
No, I don't blame
Do you blame them? No.
The owner of the Falcons, Arthur Blank, actually said last week, well, Lamar's a great talent, but man, it's just I don't know if how he plays on the field it's going to translate well as we keep going and he keeps going in his career.
Well, without saying it, Arthur Blank said what everybody else wants to say. It's collusion between the owners. They don't want to sign him. Not one single owner wants to sign him.
It is collusion.
Exactly.
It is collusion between the owners, but see, the thing is, people are saying the wrong reason as to why it's collusion.
Exactly.
People are thinking it's skin color. I'm like,
has nothing to do with that.
Got nothing to do with that at all. Not a thing. Not a thing.
You got one quarterback that has now $165 million guarantee. Another
people just want to win. It has nothing to do with skin color.
You have another
exactly.
It's because of his injury.
Yeah, you have another right, and you have another who has almost $190 million, and he does not deserve that contract.
He's talking about 230 or 250 guaranteed. Nobody's gonna give him 250 guaranteed.
And the benchmark is 230. All of them are not white, so it's not that. It's the fact that, like you just said, Jay, this guy's looking, and I said, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I said this. I said, man, Lamar is looking for a bigger guarantee, not a bigger deal in general, but a bigger guarantee than Deshaun Watson.
Listen, if the Browns are dumb enough, to give Deshaun Watson that deal, that's on the Haslam's.
Exactly.
But if anybody's going to get a big deal, what do you think? What do you think Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are going to make when they get their big contract?
Yeah.
Just about Patrick Mahomes territory.
I mean, it's going to be huge.
Oh, it's
like I said, just about Patrick Mahomes territory.
Well, the problem with that is Patrick Mahomes' contract is manageable, but now you would think, okay, well, it's the amount at the end. Now it's the guarantee. It's the front end. That's the problem. That's the
front end. He's a great quarterback, but y'all seen Justin Herbert? He's pretty arrogant. You think he's going to settle for that?
No, he's not.
No.
But we'll close with this, and I will end with this final statement. He's not going to get it in Los Angeles.
Well, and Joe Burrow's the same way.
Yep.
Joe Burrow's the same way. He's there. He's really arrogant. He's not going to settle for that.
He's not going to settle for it. Justin Herbert will get his money. He's just not going to get it with the Chargers.
No. Well, they have in
a few years, Justin Herbert will head east. All right. He will get his money. He just will not get it with the Los Angeles Chargers, and that will be the only time I say this team correctly.
I don't blame him either.
This past season, but they didn't.
I'm with Jay. I don't blame Justin either if he does.
Brandon Staley's an idiot. He just is.
Brandon Staley is a colossal idiot.
Thank you, Jay.
You mean the Aaron Boone of the NFL?
Yes,
Jay.
Mr. Analytics, who goes for it all the time.
Mr.
Jay,
wait a minute. This one's for Cole. Mr. Analytics does. I had his name in my head and I can't think of it now. I can see his face.
Kellen
no. Mike D'Antoni. That's the name I'm thinking of.
Mike D'Antoni.
Does that tell you anything? And I said his name earlier when I mentioned Steven Silas's contract won't be renewed. Guess where Mike D'Antoni's going? I threw it out there. I'll probably throw it out again this afternoon. We got to go. Jay Spivey joining us this morning, as he does every single morning when we talk on Mondays. Jay, thank you, partner. I appreciate it. We love you. I can't wait to talk to you next Monday and can't wait to talk to you more leading up to the draft because I want you on when we do our draft coverage. Thank you, buddy.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you much. Have a great week.
Thank you, Jay. You too.
Thank
brother.
you.
All right, man.
Many praise to you.
My closing statement in the morning goes like this, and I hope to be absolutely wrong in this prediction, and I hope to make Cole laugh out loud with this prediction, and I really hope it doesn't come true. Mike D'Antoni's going back to Houston.
I think Cole just died inside a little bit. He came off camera.
He ran away from me.
He's like, nope, I'm not.
He
Not today,
he,
Satan.
he pulled.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. The host needs to collect himself for a moment or two. Please stand by. The host simply can't believe how people can be such dolts and idiots. Please stand by. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
Don't you
Siri, what the hell?
ever, don't you ever say something that blasphemous again.
What? Mike Tandoni's going back to Houston? What the? You look. You didn't catch the tail. You didn't catch the tail end of my statement when I said I really hope to be wrong.
I know. I hope you.
I hope I'm dead wrong in that statement because they just did Steven Silas very dirty.
I expected them. I expected them to do Steven Silas dirty.
I know. I did too, and I hate that.
I hated that. Yeah, I was like, man,
I hate that they did Steven Silas that dirty. We gotta go. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough.
Nope.
If I could be
I'm gonna say
cancer,
you're fired. You're fired.
Can you play that, Cole?
Yes, Lord. And so
If your
Ryan,
dreams don't scare you,
you're fired. Lord,
there it is. We are out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow, and I'll be back in studio tomorrow. We're out.
Thank the Lord.
This coffee with McCarthy is sponsored by Steph Curry Cognac. One, and it's lights out.